Welcome to Immigration Quicktake. This is Ellie Rutledge-Silver with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Tomorrow, the House Judiciary Committee will be marking up 3 immigration bills that would be harmful to our communities. Here to share more is Chen, Director of Government Relations at AILA. Greg, thanks for joining me. First, tell me about the Davis-Oliver Act.
Ellie, taken together, these 3 bills constitute a large enforcement-only package. They go hand in hand with President Trump's own efforts to engage in mass deportation of immigrants from the country. The Davis-Oliver Act is the largest and most expansive of the 3. We've seen previous iterations of it in past Congresses, and AILA has opposed those versions each time. In particular, the Davis Act includes far more federal agents to engage in immigration enforcement and will also authorize states and localities to engage in immigration enforcement in a way that hasn't been seen before. In particular, it authorizes states and localities to develop and implement their own immigration penalty schemes, akin to the kind that Arizona tried with SB 1070, provisions of which were struck down by the Supreme Court in past years. In addition, the bill also criminalizes unlawful presence and would make dreamers and other people who are undocumented who have been living here for years subject to prosecution and targeting. Also, it undermines due process in a variety of ways, including for people who are in detention, who have their liberty that's been deprived, as well as people who are seeking protections coming into the country. The bill offers no solutions, as I mentioned before, and is enforcement only and is going to ramp up enforcement and deportation across the country, spreading fear in immigrant communities and not really providing any kind of public safety benefit despite the claims of its authors. This is going to undermine trust in local law enforcement's ability to protect their communities, and victims are not going to be coming forward to report crimes any longer. This is not good for the United States at all.
Thanks, Greg. You mentioned a couple of other bills being marked up. What are those?
The main thing these 2 other bills would do is to authorize for the first time USCIS and ICE. In addition, these bills are part of the enforcement-only approach of the Trump administration, and that's why we are thinking of the entire package as Trump's Mass Deportation Act effort. In particular, the ICE authorizing bill would add more agents, just like the Davis-Oliver Act does, but it would authorize 12,500 more detention and deportation officers, as well as 60 more ICE trial attorneys. The USCIS bill would make the E-Verify pilot program a permanent program without addressing any of the due process protections that are needed and have been long recognized as being needed to ensure that authorized workers are not mistakenly identified as being unauthorized and hindering their efforts to get employment. So combined, AILA opposes all 3 of these bills.
What can members do?
These bills are scheduled to be marked up in House Judiciary Committee on Thursday, May 18th. And the most important thing AILA members can do would be to contact members of the House Judiciary Committee and tell them to oppose all 3 bills because of the major problems in each one of them. In the past iterations on the Davis-Oliver Act, we have seen party line votes splitting with Democrats opposing and Republicans supporting the bill. The real important thing now is to make sure that Republicans understand that the bills are problematic and to ask them to not vote in support of it. And for Democrats, the important ask is to explain to them that they need to keep pressing against this bill so that we don't see Trump's mass deportation plan come into effect.
Thanks, Greg, for joining me. For the rest of you, please stay tuned for more updates from the American Immigration Lawyers Association.